Hello everyone, you're on the Player Review Team channel. Today we're looking at a new trio of players who haven't appeared on our channel this season yet. We'll talk about Sun's new evolution, the Lucas Paquetá SBC, and compare Yamal's rare card with his Player of the Month version. We'll break down the strengths and weaknesses of these cards, give a couple of tips for the future, and season everything with a pinch of realism. Let's start with the Brazilian. Since the new promo is literally called Joga Bonito, Lucas has a medium body type, 180 centimeters tall, and 5+4 in skill moves and weak foot. For the chemistry style, we recommend Engine for both cam and central midfielder in a midfield trio. His playstyles include low-driven shot, incisive pass and long ball, the crucial technical, and a number of other useful traits. The ideal role for the Brazilian is playmaker both at cam and central midfielder, and now we'll explain why. Guys, Weekend League already starts, which means it is time to grab the best rewards. If you thought about boosting your account and at the same time having the chance to watch the stream, write to us. Contact is in the video description. Looking at his stats and playstyle set, you understand that Lucas is primarily a creator and a player of the final third, like most Brazilians. By the way, his unusual nickname comes from Paquetá Island, where he was born. In FC 26, his body type is not extremely agile, which is why he needs Engine. What he also needs is to be involved in attacks more often with L1 runs or 1-2s, considering his low-driven shot. He doesn't have the shadow striker role, and a classic playmaker doesn't make the same dangerous box runs as a shadow striker. Inside the box or around its edges, low-driven helps a lot, although honestly, we'd happily swap that playstyle for a silver finesse shot. And to be honest, while recording gameplay, the Brazilian didn't make a strong impression as a cam in 4-2-3-1. But once we moved him to central midfielder in 4-5-1 and gave him the playmaker role, he immediately started to shine. The point is that he doesn't have an explosive R1. He doesn't accelerate sharply and isn't particularly fast while running on it, unlike smaller, more explosive body types. So he gets pressured faster in 4-2-3-1, where the cam deals with more pressure. Meanwhile, a central midfielder playmaker in 4-5-1 usually gets more space. That makes it easier to break forward on R1 from deeper positions while opponents focus on other players. And here, his pace becomes sufficient, again because of less pressure. So if you don't use skill moves or trickster, it'll be harder to play him as a cam in 4-2-3-1 and better to look for someone more agile. By the way, his first touch deserves special attention, which he's known for in real life as well. Same with his high ball control, which is very useful against pressing. Plus, besides the ball roll, it's always nice to have 5-star skills even in midfield. Back to FC 26, we should highlight this free kick and Roberto Carlos-like curve, despite the lack of the trait. However, the absence of tiki-taka has a bigger impact, so even with long ball and incisive pass, you should try to take the ball under control first and only then make the pass. Although as we see in real life, his one-touch through balls aren't that bad. Plus, Paquetá delivers excellent whip crosses into the box, which is reflected in his playstyle list. So any run from deep can end badly for your opponent, especially if he misses the run trigger. And by the way, the Brazilian is not useless defensively considering his solid frame and decent defensive stats. He also tracks back well. That's why the 4-5-1 is perfect for him. But don't use him as a box-to-box, because this role drains stamina quickly and he doesn't have much of it. However, his aerial game disappointed. He didn't win many headers despite his real-life achievements. To sum up, as mentioned, Paquetá fits perfectly in 4-5-1 as the left central midfielder with the playmaker role. Box-to-box is not an option due to the lack of relentless and average stamina, but as a playmaker he makes strong box runs and finishes consistently thanks to low driven, although having finesse shot would have made him even better. Unlike 4-2-3-1, where there's more pressure on the cam, in 4-5-1 he gets more space and time to think, which is important considering the lack of tiki-taka and average R1 pace, meaning you will have more time to take the ball first and only then make the pass, and more space to run on R1, which lacks an explosive start compared to smaller body types. We won't go through alternatives. There are tons of options in the game for this position, and hopefully our review helped you understand whether you need this player or not. But if you still have questions, write, we'll answer. We also upgraded Sun through the new Wizard evolution for 40,000. The Korean has a unique body type, 183 centimeters tall, and most importantly, 5+5 stars. For the chemistry style, forget about pace, since he lacks playstyles anyway, and give him finisher to make him as agile as possible. Sun has an incredible set of shots, a very useful first touch and trickster, but he clearly lacks passing and pace playstyles. He also lacks rolls, so this card is, let's say, one for the future. The Korean and the Brazilian built chemistry from the first matches. One was constantly accelerating down the left flank, and the other rewarded him with an incisive pass in stride. And yes, with timed through balls, he will make runs despite lacking playstyles. But simply running straight, you won't outrun anyone, even with Hunter. However, inside the box, Sun finishes everything with finesse shot and almost everything with low driven. Low driven is not his main weapon, but it's extremely useful to have not only a 5-star weak foot, but also variety in finishes. By the way, he has a solid frame and a trivela shot. Remember this moment, we'll return to it in Yamal's review. And now a small segment. How are things in MLS? Pretty good. You know, Sun keeps hitting his favorite finesse shots. Judging by the recent poll in our Twitter, you also prefer finesse shots over low driven. Same as us. That's why cards with 5+5 and finesse shot have always caught our attention. By the way, check out this masterpiece from 27 meters with his left foot. Yes, these go in rarely, but they still go in. That's why finesse shots are still the best solution for long shots. Of course, unless we remember the rainbow flick shot, which we posted as a short. Back in MLS, here's another goal. We see excellent first touch, setup, and a powerful near post finish. In FC 26, first touch also matters, allowing you to instantly transition into dribbling. Trickster is also useful, helping you move into shooting positions whether for finesse or low driven. His control is truly strong. For example, check how the ball sticks right after holding L1. What's also interesting is that with finisher, Sun suddenly feels like he has baseline technical. His R1 is quite good and close to silver level, which is a plus considering he doesn't have the playstyle. Although in any case, you should rely on skill moves. His body type is unique and has high skill move speed, including step overs. Before discussing passing, let's check another MLS masterpiece from Sonaldo, a free kick. As for passing, he doesn't have it. This could be the end of the paragraph, but again, it's not that bad. Double triangles timed well go through decently. Or here's a good example with an incisive pass to Paquetá. But like long-range finesse shots, they work, but not often. And yes, forget about one-touch third-man passes. Playstyles matter here, but as we remember, player lock matters too. So if you're a fan of that mechanic and want to run with legendary Sonaldo, passing won't be that critical. As mentioned at the beginning, this is a card for the future. We need to wait for passing and pace playstyles as well as proper roles, and then Sun will become high meta. For now, you can play him for fun or bring him off the bench against a tired opponent. Although even now the card feels great. Again, forget about pace boost, it won't help without playstyles, but finisher makes the card much more agile. Sun is really pleasant on left stick and surprisingly decent on R1. Very clinical, so we definitely don't regret the coins spent. Once again, the card will be useful either now or later when additional playstyles can be added. Write whom you upgraded in this evolution or whether you decided to save coins. And now we move to a card we definitely can't recommend crafting considering the 370,000 cost, as we wrote in Twitter. But since Yamal hasn't been on our channel yet, we decided to talk about him. Lamine has a lean body type, 180 centimeters tall and 5+3 stars. The Player of the Month card has +1 to every stat, but like the rare version, it's best to give him Hunter. But the playstyles are more interesting. The POTM has Trickster, while the rare one has Trivela Shot, which is sometimes more useful, and we'll explain why later. In positions, we highlight the classic inside forward double ++ for RW. So just like in real life, Yamal is a serious threat, but mainly in the hands of a skilled player. We know that not everyone likes the card because of pace, but his dribbling is something special, truly unique, even if not the gold standard due to height. His R1 is more explosive than Paquetá's and faster too, not to mention the ball control. In reality, his ball handling is almost extraterrestrial. The number of highlights he produced just at the beginning of his career is more than some manage in their lifetime. Again, first touch is crucial for box entry runs. Here's a good example with the rare card, first touch and a finesse shot with his right foot. As for box runs, Yamal indeed lacks top-end pace. He has good burst but gets caught quickly. However, Yamal shouldn't mindlessly rush down the wing like Nico Williams, with all due respect to his card. Yamal is more subtle, and the opponent never knows whether you will go for a finesse shot, make an incisive pass, perform a skill move, or accelerate on R1. Ah yes, about the classic cut inside to the left and finesse far post. Well, look, you can do essentially the same, not only in obvious situations like this, but in more complex ones too. For example, check out this shot from outside the box, as if he had a gold finesse shot. By the way, if you were curious, this video features 2 camera angles, co-op 10, 20, and TV broadcast 17:3. It shows players and offside lines better, so that's what we're using currently. Anyway, finesse shots just outside the box are excellent. Just try to shoot not too far from the penalty box line. As we know from real games, Yamal loves trivela passes and sometimes even trivela shots. But while trivela passes are here, his POTM version replaced the trivela shot playstyle with Trickster. Right now, trivela shot is useful not so much for far post finishes, but for near post shots. Meaning, when you don't have time or angle for a far post finesse, it's better not to risk and hit a trivela into the near post with power, like in this clip. POTM cannot do this and will likely shoot with his right foot, which is not great considering his 3-star weak foot. It's not catastrophic, but something to remember when going one-on-one. So what do we have? An overpriced, arguably outrageous crafting cost for minimal upgrades and a swap from trivela shot to Trickster, which, as we found out, is more of a minus. Yet the card is great with top-tier dribbling, fast R1, finesse shots and incisive passes, just like the rare version, which is 7 times cheaper. So the choice is obvious. Although if you're a fan of the player, we won't stop you. Anyway, the card is top, as is the rare one. You get the idea. If you need comparisons between today's players and someone in your squad, leave a comment. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video. This helps us a lot. Thank you for watching to the end and see you in the next videos.